Scalar energy is not electricity. Electricity is wonderful, but it's passé. There's a new energy, scalar energy, which is zero-point energy, pyramid energy. Some people call it ether energy. It's different. It's a different dimension. I work with scalar energy instruments. I do not work with electromagnetic instruments. And in particular, a scalar energy instrument has greater versatility, has so many functions, work functions that it can perform, that it's, in my estimation, there's no comparison. I'm pictured here with a scalar energy instrument in my laboratory. I'm holding in my hands light bulbs. The light bulbs illuminate in my hands. A scalar energy instrument fills an environment with energy. This is a scalar energy instrument. I have approximately 30, 35 scalar energy instruments. So in many ways, I'm walking in the footsteps of Nikola Tesla. I think many of you have heard that name. Tesla, the early part of his life, worked with AC electricity. He was considered to be the founding father of AC electricity. The latter part of Nikola Tesla's life, he devoted almost exclusively to scalar energy. To this day, Tesla's advances, Tesla's instruments, Tesla's accomplishments have not been matched, because today mankind is trying to achieve what Tesla did with scalar energy, and it's futile. Electricity cannot achieve what scalar energy can achieve. So once we understand that Tesla was working with scalar energy, which is far superior to that of electricity, then and only then will we understand the brilliance, the genius of this man, and then we will shift from that dirty energy, electricity, and we will work with scalar energy. Without equivocation, I tell you that scalar energy will change the course of human history. This technology is far, far superior to that of the electromagnetic spectrum. One of the things that we recognize about scalar energy, it is zero-point energy or infinite energy. It never degrades. There's no entropy. It's a signal that is constant, eternal. So when we're working with scalar energy, we're working with perpetual energy. The signal never decays over distance. So it's perfect energy. It's energy that represents an infinite supply of power. Once we incorporate scalar energy into our lives, we will have that infinite power supply. Hence, there will be no longer any oil cartel. We will no longer have an energy problem. So those are some of the things that I envision. Now, in particular, this scalar energy instrument that I'm working with, in particular, I've developed and calibrated a treatment whereby with scalar energy, I can control matter. Before I get into that, take a look at this scalar wave. It's quite unique. Scalar energy is a double helix. A double helix. Imagine two corkscrews side by side. Scalar energy is not the wave that we see in electricity. It's not sinusoidal. It's a double helix. Imagine two corkscrews side by side. That's a scalar wave. Now, it's no accident that scalar energy is the cause of DNA. Look at the congruence. The ratio and proportion are exact. There's a minor groove and a major groove to DNA. There's a minor groove and a major groove to scalar energy. Scalar energy is the intelligence behind all DNA. If you want to be successful at molecular biology, use scalar energy. Scalar energy is the cause of all DNA. You see the congruence? Other scientists have found that working with scalar energy, they can directly and easily manipulate genomic forms. They can change mutations, they can correct mutations. Scalar energy will be our tool in the future to correct cancer, to correct genetic dysfunction. There was a researcher by the name of Antoine Prairie an Italian who was subsidized by the French government. Priori developed scalar energy instruments, and when within that vicinity, within that approximate dimension of scalar energy, if you were to place a person with cancer within that domain, that scalar energy domain, a person would be corrected of cancer. Priori found the cure for cancer by way of this scalar energy instrument that he was working with. I'm not there yet. I would like to duplicate his work, but what I can do with human health, I can easily and rather handily break apart germs. Scalar energy is the intelligence behind molecular bonds, covalent bonds, ionic bonds, etc. You can either create a molecular bond with scalar energy, its intelligence, or you can negate a molecular bond. With my instruments, I can both create molecular bonds and disassemble, rend apart molecular bonds. So with these instruments, in phase will create a molecule, out of phase will disassemble a molecule. Now, you simply have to reverse the polarity on the instrument. So let's speak in particular about taking a germ and negating that germ, whether it's a virus, a bacterium, a fungus, etc. In your folders, again, bear with me because the PowerPoint is not cooperating. In your folders, you'll find test results. This is a before and after test result from Cameroon, from Africa. I'll explain. Actually, you could see the woman holding a PCR test. You can see her thumb. If you take note of the right-hand column, at the very top you see a date, August 26, 2016. This is a PCR test. This woman had been HIV positive for 20 years. In August of last year, a viral load of 312,000 copies per milliliter of blood. She'd been HIV positive for 20 years. Thereafter, we started the scalar energy treatment. The left-hand column at the top, December 23rd, 2016. Follow the test result down on the left, no viral load, no detectable viral load. It's been 1 year. She's cured of HIV. We destroyed the HIV virus. Scalar energy allowed us to break down the molecular bonds of the HIV virus. She's no longer on any drugs. She's not taking any antivirals. She's gained weight. She's happy. She's alive. She's been cured of HIV/AIDS. We have discovered the cure of HIV/AIDS. We are curing people of HIV/AIDS on a regular basis. Scalar energy allows us to control, to have mastery over germs. It's not me, it's the energy. Energy is fundamental. Energy does what you tell it to do. The work function that my instrument is capable of is either assembling a molecular bond or disassembling a molecular bond. In so doing, in reverse polarity fashion, we break apart the HIV virus. Many people that we've treated for HIV have been tested. All of the tests show no viral load. Praise God. Yes. Thanks. Yes. It does detox. What? Sure, I'll repeat the question. She's asking, does scalar energy have the capacity also to detox? It does. Why? Scalar energy not only changes the molecular structure of a germ, it also changes the molecular structure of toxins. So the scientific term is transmutation. We transmute germs. We change them from one physical state to another. So when we transmute, say, HIV virus, we break it down into smaller components, smaller nucleotide components. So the HIV virus no longer exists. We fragmented it. Imagine I'm drinking a glass, and I throw the glass on the ground. It's still a glass, but it's not a functioning glass. The glass has been shattered. So following what we know about science, nobody can cause matter to cease to exist. I don't claim that I can do that. I can rearrange matter. So to answer your point, that's a great point. I rearrange not only the molecular structure of the virus, the HIV virus, I also rearrange the toxins. Say a bacterium has endotoxins. I change the molecular state of the endotoxin. So it's no longer a toxin. We've broken apart, we've transmuted the toxin perhaps into protein and nitrogen and oxygen. So my process, if you will, not only causes the germ, the pathogen, to cease to exist, we also cause the toxin to cease to exist. So if a germ ceases to exist and the toxin ceases to exist, you've not only been cured, but we've detoxified you. So that's a good point. That's a good point. So let me move on, because I want to support my work with tests. You know, I could speak all day long, but I'm result driven, and I believe in being able to show, to prove what I'm doing. This woman sent me a photograph from Norway. I live in Florida, by the way. Everybody that I treat by way of a photograph. You don't have to be present. Scalar energy, it transcends time and space. So if you're in a scalar energy dimension, you're not only immortal, timeless, you also are not subject to space. You're everywhere, because scalar energy is everywhere. Hence, when I treat people with scalar energy, it doesn't matter where you live in the world. All I need is a photograph of you, some part of your skin, and I'll treat you. This photograph was sent to me from a woman in Norway. I've never met her. 99% of the people that I treat with scalar energy, I do not meet. You could see she had a psoriasis MRSA in July of 2013. This was rather virulent. It was not responding to any type of antibiotic. She started the scalar energy treatment a month later in August, and by November, she sent me in follow-up photographs. You could see how dramatic the turnaround is, the before and after. To this day, she's never had any MRSA infection again. She's not on any drugs. Tests like this are common with us. Test results like this are common. It's standard operating procedure. What we've discovered is scalar energy can easily, readily break down disassembled germs, easily, no questions. So what we've discovered is a way to master, if you will, pathogens. Again, if you have consummate control over the molecular structure of a pathogen, well, the pathogen does what you tell it to do. Over the years, I've developed this technique to the point where I can destroy 400,000 species of pathogens, of germs. Well, with that said, if I can destroy 400,000 species of pathogens, I can cure most people of the common pathogenic diseases. I'm going to back this up once again. In your file folder, and again, pardon me, our PowerPoint is not acting in accordance with our wishes. Another HIV test from Africa. Tom Paladino's Heal Africa project, June 15, 2016. We have a number of volunteers in Africa that are working with us. We're treating people in Africa pro bono. They don't have any money. They're poor. I won't read the entire two-page article, but at the bottom, it speaks about, and I'll quote, 1 month later, I got the 2 people tested for the HIV viral load at the same laboratory. These 2 people are my elder sister and her husband. I preferred to test a couple I know very well and who had been HIV positive for over 10 years. I reasoned that the risk of getting infected new through extra relationships was low. To my greatest joy, not surprise, their HIV viral loads were both undetectable. Their full versions are provided, see extract below. Unfortunately, I cannot have their viral loads before the treatments as they could not afford to pay for it before. So this couple has likewise been cured of HIV infection. Scalar energy destroyed the HIV virus. We are treating hundreds of thousands of people in Africa free, pro bono. All we need is a photograph. So on any given day, sometimes I receive 10,000 photographs from Africa. And not only are we treating these people and curing them of HIV infection, we're also curing them of malaria, tuberculosis, typhoid fever. We've even treated some people during the Ebola outbreak back in 2014 with good success. Yes, scalar energy can reverse the polarity of the Ebola virus. Yes, we can cure Ebola. You might see this in your dossier also. A diagnostic test for herpes simplex virus 1 and 2. You'll see the red mark. After 20 years, this woman submitted to me her PCR test, a polymerase chain reaction test. That's a highly vaunted test used in molecular biology. And the PCR test for herpes is not detected, negative. The result of not detected is the best test result you're going to get from the scientific community. Now, no derogation against the scientific community. Very few people want to say you're cured. Very few people want to say the virus has been removed or destroyed. But I'll go out on a limb and I'll say, yes, this is a cure. This is a cure. I want to add a caveat. I am a researcher. I am not a physician. I have a great deal of respect for the medical community. We have a lot of great nurses and physicians and radiologists and oncologists and a lot of great chiropractors and a lot of great people in the medical field, and God bless them all. So what I'm trying to do with my research is help people. That's it. I've tried to promulgate this, but it's tough for some people to get their head around this. That an energy that's outside of the electromagnetic spectrum, by way of a person's photograph of their skin, can send a signal to that person anywhere in the world. And by way of that signal, we can break apart germs, viruses, bacteria, fungi, etc. I realize this is advanced. And those of you who are in attendance, I will guarantee you that you'll look back on this event in 5 years and you'll say, yeah, I met that guy. Yeah, he wasn't crazy. They're curing HIV. They're curing typhoid fever. Yeah, they have the cure for malaria. We do. Yes. I ask people to say yes to our treatments. They first have to be educated. They first have to understand what we're doing. I have a website. But what I'm trying to do is to show the world the merit of scalar energy, and one of the applications of scalar energy is to break apart, to destroy germs. I also have the ability, really quickly, with scalar energy to assemble nutrients inside the body. And I do that. I can assemble vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, amino acids inside the body. Again, that's an in-phase capacity. So with scalar energy, what I'm saying is we have mastery over physical form. We can destroy, we can break apart what's harmful, and we can assemble what's good, what's advantageous to our health. So this is, if you will, universal health care that's very inexpensive, that's painless. You don't have to leave your home, and all you have to do is email a photograph to me. This will change the medical paradigm. This is a game changer. My scalar energy instruments can treat 10 million people a day easily. If I miniaturize the photograph, and people send me collages, and they do, many times the collages from Africa have 100, 200 people on one piece of paper. Presently, my capacity, I could easily treat 100,000, 200,000 miniaturized photographs in a short period of time and cure those people. If we really miniaturize a photograph, I go on record, my instruments and the present protocol that I'm following, we could easily treat 5 to 10 million people a day and cure 5 to 10 million people a day. Now, that's a lot. I know we've covered a lot of area. So we're going to slow down for a minute. We're going to consider what I've said. I'm willing to take some questions before I continue. Anybody, anything on the top of your head? Yes. 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 I cannot offset a scalar energy instrument used for evil. And the reason I say that, scalar energy cannot be interfered with. See, this is the beauty, but it's also the potential threat of this energy. Scalar energy never decays. It never dies. And once you have a scalar signal, that signal does what you tell it to do. You cannot interrupt a scalar signal. At least I don't know how to. And I've never experienced anybody ever, whether Tesla or Hieronymus, has ever been able to interrupt a scalar signal. So scalar energy is fundamental. It does what you tell it to do. And the downside of all technology is if somebody wanted to use a scalar energy instrument in a nefarious purpose, it will work, and it will be disastrous. It will be disastrous. So to answer your question, I cannot negate scalar energy because it pervades the universe. It's already there. And how I would go about negating it, I don't think, you could do that with sound, but sound doesn't, I've never experienced that. And we're not here to, yeah. I hope they can, I'll tell you why. If people understood the full potential here, they will see and they will resonate with Nikola Tesla's decision never to release scalar energy to the world. You see, nobody has ever duplicated what Tesla did. Nikola Tesla, I think many of you understand and resonate and can associate with that great genius. Tesla had many scalar energy instruments. Wardenclyffe Tower in Long Island was his first presentation to the world as to the merit of scalar energy. Nonetheless, Wardenclyffe was never properly funded, and it really never materialized. Anyway, long story short, to this day, nobody really understands what Tesla's doing. I can't say that I do. He was so far advanced. We're just trying to catch up to what Tesla had achieved. So we see with energy or any type of technology, there's the plus side and there's the minus side. Per se, I will never sell my instruments. I don't want the liability, and frankly, I don't think people understand how to use scalar energy. So following Nikola Tesla's mindset, I do not want to release this technology. I do not want to share the plans with anybody. If these plans got in the wrong hands, there would be a great deal of liability to that. One thing I've also incorporated in the health treatment, the health regimen that I work with, is scalar energy allows me to balance the 7 chakras and also reprogram brain waves. I firmly believe our brain waves, beta waves, theta waves, delta waves, are directly influenced by scalar energy, and to further that scalar energy is responsible for thought. That thinking is a function of scalar energy, that emotions are a function of scalar energy. Our cognitive being, all of that illumination, pun intended, all of that illumination is by way of scalar energy. So scalar energy is the doorway that allows us to access the cognitive mind, our consciousness, the subconscious mind, our emotions. Scalar energy is what? The instructions of the universe. So once we really understand scalar energy, we're going to be able to change people's thinking for the better, to balance the 7 chakras. Many of the people that I treat tell me that after I treat them, they have a much more profound and meaningful sleep. So I know I'm doing something to reprogram their brain waves. People are sleeping, and sleeping in a much more profound and meaningful way, all by way of their photograph. I'm not a sleep therapist, but my instrument can reprogram the brain waves. There's thousands of applications of scalar energy. Thousands. What we've touched upon today is just, it's a thumbnail sketch of what we can do. So, any other questions? Yes.
I got this laptop working for some reason. It doesn't come out from yours. So
Okay.
transfer the files for USB drive.
Okay. All right.
The PDFs.
That's my flash drive.
It's
And
all
then,
in here. Good.
yeah, that's my flash drive. And
Yeah, I think yours is working. So it is the computer. Samuel's about to go on stage.
And let's see if we have any luck. What have I noticed when working with scalar energy? In my laboratory, I can easily illuminate light bulbs. Why? Because scalar energy fills a dimension. If I took a fluorescent tube and just introduced it into my scalar energy instrument, it immediately illuminates. I've also noticed that a compass will not properly orientate inside a scalar energy force field. Why? Because there is no north, south, east, and west in a scalar energy dimension. There are no 4 cardinal points. So when I take a compass and frequently introduce it next to the Tesla coil, it spins around. It cannot properly orient. I live in Florida, so many times when I'm working with my instrument, I will see, during a thunderstorm in Florida, my instrument will experience just small lightning bolts, small sparks coming from my instrument, autonomously, without my having touched the instrument whatsoever. So I construe that scalar energy forms in the clouds. A lightning bolt is initially scalar energy and will then degrade into electromagnetic energy. And anytime my instrument is on in my laboratory and there's a thunderstorm in Florida, it becomes alive. And I actually see small lightning bolts from my instrument. It's feeding off the atmospheric scalar energy. Working with scalar energy in my laboratory, I know that I've developed some type of a vortex, some type of a time warp, if you will. People that have worked with me for a longer period of time, I believe we are slowing down the aging process. I'm 57 years of age. I believe I've slowed down my aging process. Just, so many incredible things that we're achieving. I hope the world someday will catch up to this and will recognize how simple this is. If you're working within that dimension, you cannot achieve this with electricity. Electromagnetic energy cannot do this. I also firmly believe, that scalar energy is very much responsible for the spiritual dimension. This is a photograph of an angel. Some say it's Saint Michael the Archangel. Anytime you see an angel photographed, the angel is in translucent white light. Look how brilliant that is. That's not electricity. Electricity is dirty energy. Angels are composed of scalar energy. I believe that there is a heaven, and I believe you only find scalar energy in heaven. You will not find any electricity in heaven. It just stands to reason. Electricity is death. It's negation of signal. It's entropy. Why would you have entropy, death, in heaven? There's no electricity in heaven. There's only scalar energy in heaven. Hence, the angels in heaven are scalar beings. We have a soul. Our soul is scalar energy. Thinking, as I mentioned previously, is a function of scalar energy. People who are clairvoyant, it's scalar energy. How can some people read one another's minds? How can some people call it women's intuition or sixth sense? That's scalar energy. It's an information system. My wife has the sixth sense. She has great women's intuition. I speak to her frequently. She has the gift of scalar energy. And some people have that ability to see the future or to predict an event or to be able to distinguish, to discern between right and wrong. So scalar energy eventually will allow us to improve our judgment. Imagine what that means in the business world. Imagine what that means in our domestic affairs. Something I've also noticed about scalar energy, extinct volcanoes or active volcanoes are apertures for scalar energy. Mauna Kea in Hawaii, Mount Fuji. Look at this photo of Mount Fuji. See something unique here? 5 lenticular clouds, one on top of the other. They're stationary. The other clouds are moving. Why are these 5 pancake-shaped clouds stationary over the aperture of Mount Fuji? Any volcano is emitting scalar energy. Any fault line is emitting scalar energy. A release of scalar energy is responsible for earthquakes. Why do cows in a cow pasture sense an earthquake? They feel the uplift, the release of scalar energy. That's why the animals, they can sense an earthquake. Dogs, cats do the same thing. So many animals are much more sensitive to scalar energy than we are. So what's my point? Scalar energy is responsible for everything. It's the instructions of the universe. In my laboratory, I've discovered that I can take scalar, convert it into electromagnetic energy, and vice versa. So I'm going to demonstrate this using my hands, so bear with me. Can you hold this? Scalar energy is a double helix. Imagine 2 corkscrews side by side, a double helix. When scalar energy degrades, one corkscrew, so to speak, becomes electricity, the other becomes magnetism, and then they move in perpendicular fashion. That moving along an axis in perpendicular fashion is entropy, it's death. When electricity and magnetism recombine, it becomes a double helix again. I've done this thousands of times in my laboratory. My predecessor, Hieronymus, took a scalar wave, transmuted it, call you what you will, converted it into an electromagnetic wave, and then recombined that electromagnetic wave into scalar. So my point is, the stars are the storage houses. The stars are the points of origin for scalar energy. Inside any star is a scalar energy dimension. By the way, stars are relatively cool inside. There are no atomic bombs exploding in stars. The theory of fusion, fission for stars is wrong. Scalar energy is the domain. Scalar energy is the essence of any star. When scalar energy leaves a star, then it starts to break down into electricity and magnetism. And as you leave the center of the star and scalar energy then degrades and becomes electromagnetic energy, then you see a significant increase in heat. And that's where we get our warmth from. But the very core of a star is pure scalar energy, and it's relatively cool. You could have dinner at the center of our sun. It's cool. It's a cool process. It's the conversion of scalar into electromagnetic energy that gives the sun that particular patina, the corona, and that's where we get the fire and the heat and many of those solar flares. Anyway, long story short, I have developed miniature stars. And those miniature stars allow me access into this other dimension of scalar energy. And I can prove that it works because we're curing people around the world of pathogenic disease. And we're able to assemble inside their bodies vitamins and minerals and antioxidants. And we're able to change their brain waves. And we're able, with some people, we can reverse depression. Some autistic children perform better in school after we treat them with scalar energy. So this is the world that I envision. This is the future. If I can do it, anybody can do it. We're going to change the world with scalar energy. Scalar energy will have a greater impact than that of the computer. In 5 years, you will look back to this afternoon in Las Vegas and you'll say, yeah, that prediction came true. This will take off in the next 5 years, and the world will begin to embrace this energy. And there's so many applications with scalar energy. It's starting. Many people are starting to realize what Tesla had achieved, and we're going to follow in the footsteps of Tesla, and we will change the world with scalar energy. Mark my word. And it will be a better world. That's my end game. I want to see a better world. There's too much suffering. That's my end game. Yes, it can be used as a weapon. I don't know. I cannot comment to that. I do not know. Yes, anything is possible with scalar energy. Just about anything is possible with scalar energy because it's the instructions of the universe. And you can use those instructions to benefit mankind, and you could use those instructions with a nefarious intent. Yes. 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 She asked about, she has a scalar energy pendant upon a necklace, and she said that she feels that this perhaps could help negate electromagnetic frequency. And I think that's possible, and I achieve that every day in my laboratory. A scalar energy environment will always override an electromagnetic environment. Now, what do I mean by that? If I have my cell phone on my person in my laboratory, my cell phone will go crazy. Scalar energy literally erases its memory or causes that cell phone to cease to function because it does not recognize the energy of scalar energy. So when I introduce my cell phone inside a scalar energy dimension, the cell phone cannot function. So I posture that a scalar energy instrument can be used to make obsolete, to render any type of electromagnetic instrument. So to speak to your point, if that's what you're experiencing with your pendant, yes. In practice, I've seen that, and if you believe that your pendant is causing you to negate the EMF around you, yes, I would concur. Yes, sir, this will be the last question. I'm being prodded.
I missed the very beginning, and I didn't get the definition of what scalar energy is. How does it differ, say, from sunlight?
Thank you. It is sunlight. It's sunlight. Yes. It is sunlight. This room pervades with scalar energy. But remember, there's two energies in this world, scalar and electromagnetic. If you go to the center of the sun, there's 100% scalar energy. So to answer your question, all energy initiates its scalar energy at the center of our sun, of our solar system, and the stars. And then in many environments, that scalar energy will convert into electromagnetic energy. I have to defer to our friends. I'm going to go out in the hall. If anybody has any further questions, by all means, please take some home, some of the brochures. They offer free scalar energy treatments, and I'll see everybody out in the hall. No, just tonight. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.